This is time for the practice of a meditation. We finished this morning's chanting. Now this is time for the practice of a meditation. We offer ourselves to the Buddha, to our teachers, for the safety and the guidance in the practice of the Dhamma. As we know, there are two different types of a meditation, samatha and vipassana. Samatha, which is a tranquility meditation, adopting one object and working with just that object, contemplating on that object. And mind becomes fully absorbed, undistracted, understanding ins and out, and mind completely settled. Just being one with that object. There is a peace and tranquil. When we attain that mental state, possibility of arising of a different nimittas or again ability to develop up to the psychic powers. The second practice is called Vipassana, is one of the very important principal practice of Buddhism. Particularly those who wish to practice meditation should first observe the way how it should be practiced correctly. Because this is about the wisdom. There is not a single object that we are paying attention to, and we are not fixed on that object. We do adopt an object simply to settle the mind, but we are not stick with that or fix it on that. And the wisdom or the knowledge that we acquire from the practice of insight meditation is understanding the mind and the matter as impermanent, and this again, mind and matter is impermanent, anicca, and against with our wish, unhappiness, and so this is suffering and non-self. So in the practice we adopt one object as a foundation, not as a fixation, as a foundation that we stand on and observing other activities as the natural phenomena occurs. And that's how it's called wisdom cultivation. And this is the one that the Buddha emphasized more and encouraged us to attain that. So the object of a meditation in the practice, that's fine, is not about a single object. Standing on that platform or a base, we are learning to notice the mind and the matter. What is mind, what is matter? And within that observation and realization of this mind and the matter, thorough contemplation until we realize that these are again impermanent and suffering and non-self. So the main object of the practice is the mind and the matter. Again, when we talk about the observation of the mind and the matter, it's not about the thinking. It's not about the perceptions. It's what's happening now, what arises now. What's taking place here and now. When we observe here and now, then only we able to comprehend the impermanence of the phenomena. And this realization of this impermanence, unsatisfactoriness, and non-substantial, that leads to the real understanding. And the practice of this wisdom cultivation actually removes the distortion in us, distorted wrong views about the things that we perceive. What are the distorted views? We take things as a beautiful or a good. Like the phenomena arises, or even like a mind and a body that we have, it's a beautiful. So we see it as a beautiful and good. And the second, not only seeing as a beautiful and a good, we take it as a happiness as well. And not only we look at in terms of the happiness, we even see in this body and the mind or the phenomena that arises as a permanent. So that's a mentally holding onto these phenomena as a permanent entity that won't change. And these are me, this is mine, this is me. So these are the distorted view that we have and gradually will removed with the practice of a wisdom cultivation. But obviously the ultimate benefit of the practice is the attainment of a liberation, the Nibbana. Obviously, in the practice, it's very difficult to continue because everything is just in a continuum changing so rapidly. And with that rapid change, it's very difficult to recognize. And then sometimes when we feel pain, discomfort, we change the posture. And then in the meantime, we cannot see these changes simply because it's a massive a lump of a group. So we can't see it as impermanent or a non-self. So eradicating that distorted view. And what is the supportive part of the practice? The supportive part of the practice is the for establishment of mindfulness, or four foundations of a mindfulness. That we start off with paying attention to this body, beginning with the breath as the body in the body, and move on gradually moving forward to understand our different postures, from the gross level of a posture to the refined level. And there is a clear comprehension on each activities that are taking place, and eventually seeing that these are just element created subjects which brings the different types of feelings, and that different types of a feeling shapes the mind and mental state. All these are again it's anicca, the impermanent. So understanding in this way, then we have developed the wisdom. And with that development of the wisdom, we see the root cause of the problems and how these problems um, seeps into our hearts and our minds, and understanding ways to close these down and improving the real chain of the cycle of a birth and a death. And we simply understand this mind and a matter, which is serving as ourself and also as a meditation object. So this is how one should be practicing. So in this way, in this way, one will practice. So with this, I will leave here to let you practice for some times before we end today's meditation.